think they called me 47.
That's not a name.
So make it one.
All right. Agent 47.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 17 of Nub's Hitman Files. In the previous episode, we took down 2 of the 3 Providence Partners, and in today's episode, we are headed to Dartmoor, England, where we're going to take down the final of the 3 Providence Partners. Let's go ahead and get started with the briefing on our mission today.
She came home.
Carlisles lost an empire. You fall hard enough, you tend to be reminded of what truly matters. So, the end of the line. You ready for this?
Are you? Who will you be without a score to settle?
I guess the world's most wanted fugitive will have to do.
Alexa Carlisle is dead.
Ah, sweet, easy, game over.
According to the funeral invitation, that is. So naturally, it caused quite a stir when the late matriarch turned up at the breakfast table, alive and kicking. Carlisle, wisely sensing that her number is up, has emerged from exile to tie up loose ends and secure the Carlisle legacy. She may be a monster, but you have to admire her due diligence. Carlisle descends from an ancient line of warrior aristocrats. Her great-grandfather made a killing in the Second Opium War and established an empire in shipping, railroads, and newspaper publishing. While largely unknown to the public, the family still asserts its quiet dominance over global transport and logistics, media, and technology. Most senior of the partners, Alexa Carlisle, is cold as ice, tough as nails, and sharp as a razor. Incidentally, it was her late father who first brought the 3 families together after the end of World War II at this very house, meaning that this gentleman is the birthplace of Providence.
It began here, and it ends here. Talk about poetic.
One more thing. According to our intel, Carlisle keeps a case file on the Constant. Information that may be helpful in his recapture, so don't leave the estate without it.
Right. Happy hunting, 47. See you on the other side.
I always enjoyed that little fake out at the very beginning there where they say, "Oh, she's dead." Saves me some trouble. Alright, so let's learn a little bit more about today's target, Alexa Carlisle. She's the only person that we actually have to kill. Anyone else would be considered a non-target and would obviously affect our score, but let's go ahead and learn a little bit more about Alexa. Just a couple of footnotes before we get into the description of Ms. Carlisle. Number 1, I will be referring to as either Ms. Carlisle or A for the rest of this playthrough, simply because I have an Amazon Echo that triggers every time I say her first name. Second, this is being re-recorded because the audio cut out during the initial recording of the video, so bear with me if it's a little off. The Carlisle family is of ancient English origin. The earliest known ancestor was knighted during the War of the Roses, and for centuries the Carlisles lived a comfortable but quiet existence among the rural nobility, far removed from the halls of power. This all changed in the 1850s when the shrewd and enterprising Ichabod Carlisle turned a fortune in the Second Opium War and subsequently established a global business empire in shipping, railroads, and newspaper publishing. They maintained strong ties to the crown, securing lucrative contracts throughout the yet powerful British Empire. During the 20th century, the Carlisles invested heavily in transportation and broadcasting, and to this day, the Carlisle Group manages a diverse portfolio of shipping and logistics companies, airlines, newspapers, and cable networks such as GNN. In the aftermath of World War II, Thomas Alexander Carlisle saw an opportunity to take unprecedented control of the flailing global markets. Approaching the heirs to the Stuyvesant and Ingram empires, both college fraternity brothers, Thomas proposed pooling their already vast assets and resources and establishing the corporate superstructure that would henceforth be known as Providence. Ever since, the Carlisles have retreated from public view, and few outside the English aristocracy recognize the name. The family is immensely wealthy, but their true currency is influence. In recent decades, the Carlisles have been investing heavily in technology companies, playing a large but unseen role in the rise of social media and the post-truth era. Thus, crucial Providence assets such as EtherCorp, biotech, Kronstadt Industries, robotics, Dynasty Global, online retail, and Quantum Leap, consumer tech, are all largely controlled by the Carlisle family. Ms. Carlisle, 75, the current head of the family, is the most senior Providence partner and the power cabal's unofficial leader. Cold as ice and sharp as a razor, A is regal, proud, and dignified, and displays the kind of blunt rudeness that only people of nobility get away with. In her youth, A was married to the aristocratic naval officer Lyndon James Whittingworth, with whom she had three adult children: Gregory, Edward, and Rebecca. Lyndon, by then an accomplished alcoholic, died in an automobile accident in 1978, and A never remarried. A second-born child, A never expected to become head of family. That responsibility would befall the firstborn son, A's older brother, Montgomery. Instead, graduating first in class from Cambridge, A made a meteoric rise within the male-dominated shipping industry of the 1970s, determined to succeed by merit alone. But soon, tragedy befell the Carlisle family, changing A's trajectory forever. Her older brother, Montgomery, took a fatal tumble from a balcony at the Carlisles' ancestral estate, and his death hit the youngest sibling, Zachary, hard. Following a mental breakdown and institutionalization, that's a mouthful, Zachary abandoned his own promising career and shielded himself at Thornbridge Manor, where he has lived quietly as a recluse ever since. Fresh out of capable male heirs, Thomas Carlisle had no choice but to fast-track A and become the new head of family and, by extension, a future partner of Providence. A took her new apprenticeship with ruthless ambition and an uncanny knack for geopolitical manipulations, quickly becoming the key architect behind Providence's expansion into non-Western territories. She played a hand in orchestrating the War of the Falklands in a ploy to dethrone the military junta, and along with the first constant, Janus, she shrewdly played both sides of the Cold War to Providence's advantage. In the 1960s, her father had backed an obscure Romanian research facility, the Institute for Human Betterment, which operated a cutting-edge human enhancement program, and A was instrumental in turning the Institute into a proper assassination service, not to mention the eventual wipe of its subjects, a decision which would one day cost her dearly, as we'll find out in this episode. As Thomas grew older and slowly succumbed to Alzheimer's, A gained more and more responsibility. She finally assumed the position as full Providence partner in 1988. For more than 3 decades, she was secretly the most powerful woman on Earth. But now, the tectonic plates of power are shifting. Of the 3 partners, only A sees the writing on the wall, realizing with a trademark lack of sentimentality that Providence is lost to the machinations of their top controller, Arthur Edwards. All that is left now is to preserve the Carlisle family legacy, and perhaps to die with dignity. Alright, so they also give you a mission, just find the case file. A. Carlisle has compiled a case file on Arthur Edwards. You need to find it. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. As far as the mission stories, there's really only one great one out of the three. All of them are okay. The other two are okay, but the main one that you want to do, and the best one of the three, is Means, Motive, and Opportunity, which we'll take a look at. Oh, accidentally backed down. Which we will take a look at. Let's go ahead and get equipped. That's fine. We probably won't even need the gun. We're probably not going to have to shoot anyone, but we'll have that option if we need to. Coins, a lockpick will probably be necessary, and we'll just stick with the main piece of equipment. Starting location is the main road. That will involve a little bit of sneaking to get up to the mansion. I will say now we will do a silent assassin suit only run, which will involve starting at a location on the backside of the mansion. Which might seem a little bit like cheating, but it's also to avoid several minutes of me trying to dodge guards just to get to the backside of the mansion, so this shortcuts that a little bit. And it doesn't affect your final score as Silent Assassin Suit only. You can start wherever you want, as long as you do not change into an outfit or disguise other than whatever 47 would normally look like. So anyway, that's for later. Let's go ahead and get started with the main one.
Thornbridge Manor, the Carlisle family's home for countless generations. The Revenant Alexa Carlisle and her 3 adult children, younger brother Zachary, grandson and daughter-in-law, are all gathered to conduct Carlisle's sham funeral. Curiously, Carlisle summoned a famous London PI soon after arriving this morning, but his purpose at Thornbridge is yet unclear. Now, the target knows that you're coming, and her guard detail is top-notch. So Mr. Gray will secure their nearby field HQ and intercept all calls going in and out of the estate. Any appeal for backup is going to fall on very deaf ears. Good luck, gentlemen.
Pretty sweet motorcycle. Alright, we gotta get moving pretty quickly here because our primary target is a gentleman who's just gonna walk right into frame there. We need to take him down. It's going to be easier to do it at the mansion, but we don't want to get too far behind him.
Phineas Whitmer, private investigator. I have an appointment with Madame Carlisle. Please wait. Mr. Whitmer is here to see Madame Carlisle. Go right.
So as soon as you enter the grounds past that front gate, you're already trespassing, so you got to stay hidden as much as possible. Let's go ahead and pick the mission story for it, so that the game knows we're going to try to take him down. I think you have to do it before he talks to, we'll call her Madame Carlisle, to save some trouble. Or else they'll know that you're not the detective. And that's fine. You can catch him pretty quickly, I think, in the... Well, maybe not. Maybe you don't have to do that. I'm not sure. All I know is it's easier to take him down in the mansion itself because there is a hallway that he walks into that is empty, and you can just quickly nab him and throw him inside a box. Not sure what he's doing there. Picking his nose.
That is Phineas Whitmer, the famous private investigator hired by Madame Carlisle this morning. I'm curious why he's here. Maybe you should do some detecting yourself, 47.
I know I oughtn't say anything, but I'm so relieved.
Yes, I'm already following it. You don't have to make me do a choice.
Preparing for Madame's funeral, and then she turns up alive. But then the awful business with her brother Zachary, and all this security. I've never seen the place guarded like this, and I dare say I don't like it at all.
Alright, so that window right there on the right is going to be where we want to go. All we want to do is hang out here. Eventually the detective will walk through that hallway, and then we'll just jump in and nab him.
That's a bit excessive, I think, considering the fact that I spotted no less than 2 routes to get inside the house unseen.
We know what we're doing, sir. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to walk in the main hallway, talk to the butler. I don't think he talks to Madame Carlisle right away. Maybe he does. See if she's running to the front entrance. She is not. Here he comes. Alright, so. Wait until he goes around the corner. Jump in. Go get him. And we have our disguise for the mission. Good news, this will get you pretty much anywhere in the mansion without question. No one questions your presence. Yoink! Alright, let's go talk to Madame Carlisle. She's right around the corner here.
Mr. Whitmer, thank you for coming on such short notice. A great tragedy has fallen upon us, and I need a quick resolution, handled with absolute discretion.
Results and discretion are my speciality.
Very well. I suppose you will want to start at the crime scene.
In my experience, a thorough examination of a potential crime scene is half the job done.
Good. Fernsby will take over from here.
I am Mr. Fernsby, the butler. Madame Carlisle has asked me to assist you in any way possible. Mr. Whitmer, I understand that you've traveled from London. Would you care for some refreshments? Or do you prefer to go straight to Mr. Zachary's sleeping quarters?
No, let's go ahead and eat first. Yeah, I want
I
to start.
prefer to get started.
As you wish. If you'll follow me, sir.
I mean, I get that's the polite thing to do, but can you imagine them adding 10 to 15 minutes of me sitting and eating? I thought Hitman 3 was a good game, but the Dartmoor mission was a little bit long.
Current affairs
So much eating.
surrounding Madame Carlisle are of a delicate nature. You may be familiar with the recent announcement of her death. You will probably learn that a staged funeral is scheduled to take place tomorrow. Madame's children were not informed until this morning that their mother was in fact not dead at all. So please bear with them if they seem affected by the rather unusual situation. I trust I do not need to remind you that there will be consequences if word gets out that Madame Carlisle is still alive.
I'll consider her dead when I leave.
Before you inspect the crime scene, I will tell you this. The case concerns the death of Mr. Zachary, Madame Carlisle's younger brother. He was found dead in his bed this morning. The door was locked from the inside, and a suicide letter was found in his room. However, Madame Carlisle suspects foul play and will not accept that he took his own life. I've prepared some information for you, so please do come and see me when you've finished your investigation of the crime scene. This is Mr. Zachary's room, to my right.
Let's take a look.
A locked room murder mystery, 47. I trust you'll get to the bottom of this.
I'll do my best. So, a couple of things you have to take a picture of. You'll have to use that camera. They did want to get the most functionality as possible out of this camera since it wasn't in the first two games.
Why don't you use your camera to scan the dead body, 47?
Hey, why don't you let me figure it out, Diana? Okay, let's see what that told us. Nope, come on. A whiskey glass and bottle found on Zachary Carlisle's bedside table. Oh, now it doesn't want to let me take a picture of him? Oh, that's funny. Wrong side? No? There we go.
Throat markings indicate a rare, short-lived plant poison killed him. Spread shows time of death at around 10 o'clock last night.
You do know your poisons, 47.
Alright. Let's see, there are how many? 6 clues in this area. So we have to find everything in here to do a thorough investigation. Usually you'll find stuff like this just lying around. You won't be able to scan it with your camera. Let's go ahead and pick up the suicide note.
Zachary's suicide note. Also, a sample of handwriting. It could be relevant to compare to other samples to establish its authenticity.
Let's do that. Suicide note found in Zachary Carlisle's bedroom. It reads, "I am haunted by horrible past choices and their all-consuming consequences. A was the raft keeping me afloat. Without her, I cannot go on. Goodbye." Well, see you later. Signed, Zachary. And we got to check his laptop.
Zachary was shopping for new Wellingtons last night. Not exactly what you would expect from someone suicidal.
Anything about that? Nope, just tells us what we just heard. Take a peek around, see if there's anything else of note to pick up. And put the camera away, we don't need that. The good news is once you get into a room, you usually see exactly what you're supposed to take a picture of on the map. It'll show you exactly where it's located. Don't think it's out here. No. Okay, go back in. Now, I know where one of them is. I don't know if it counts as both of the missing clues, but there is something right here. A secret passage? Oh.
It's a secret passage.
Oh, there you go.
This could explain how the door was locked from the inside.
Okay, so I guess that was one of the clues. Yep, there you go. Oh, yeah, went a little too far. Secret passage connecting a corridor and Zachary Carlisle's bedroom. And then right over here is the 6th and final clue.
A photocopy of the floor plans. Somebody's been researching the secret ins and outs of Thornbridge Manor. I believe
in
you've
the
done a
room,
thorough
too.
search of the crime scene, 47. Maybe it's time to see the butler. I'm curious about the information he's prepared for you.
You can exit this way as well. But the way in there is actually something we'll have to find in another room. Which, in and of itself, kind of gives you an idea of who the killer is, but we'll get into that later. They really did a good job on this level. It is a beautiful mansion.
Mr. Fernsby, I'm done with the crime scene.
Did you establish a time of death?
Zachary died around 10 o'clock last night.
That means the staff were off duty. And Madame Carlisle and her security didn't arrive until this morning. That leaves Madame's family and myself as the only persons here when he died. And before you ask, no, I do not have an alibi.
J'accuse!
I was alone in my office at the time of death. Here's the material that I prepared for you. It's a list of the possible suspects and their quarters. Hopefully that will help you keep track of your findings. Please come and see me when you've solved the case, and I will take you to Madame Carlisle.
All right. So now we have our task before us. We have to go interview every member of the Carlisle family that's here. And Mr. Fernsby gave us a little bit of information about himself already. Here is the list of suspects. They do include Zachary Carlisle because, as the game initially indicates, it is suspected that he may have committed suicide. We'll go ahead and read about each of them. Zachary Carlisle, A's younger brother and fellow resident of Thornbridge Manor. Zachary was found dead in his bed this morning, and despite a suicide note and doors locked from the inside, Stop. I almost said it. A is convinced he was murdered. Gregory Carlisle, the oldest child of A. Carlisle. Gregory is a suspect in the murder of Zachary Carlisle. Edward Carlisle, the middle child of A. Carlisle. Edward is a suspect, blah, 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 blah. Rebecca Carlisle, the youngest child of A. Carlisle, and Emma Carlisle, the wife of Gregory and daughter-in-law to Madame Carlisle. Thank you, they said Madam this time. And Patrick Carlisle, the son of Emma and Gregory. And finally, Mr. Fernsby, butler at Thornbridge Manor. Mr. Fernsby, blah, 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 blah. All right, so as we learn more about each of the targets, we'll have more information added to their little suspect bios here. And then they list all of the rooms that we need to go into as part of the investigation. There is one room not listed here that we do need to check as well. That will actually give us all the information we need for a third suspect once we narrow it down.
So how does one solve a murder mystery, 47? Motive, means, and opportunity, I believe.
No.
May I suggest you ask the suspects for alibis?
So
or
most of them are
perhaps
that
you
way.
prefer searching the manor for clues first.
And one of them is in this room right here, I believe.
Making you wash his car twice? Right.
I'm serious. I have a friend who's a model. She says that's the sweetest. Let's pick this up later.
Huh. Yeah, let's pick it up later, guy.
Patrick Carlisle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Shit, it's that sneaky butler, isn't it? He ratted me out. Elaine, give us some privacy, would you? Don't tell Mother, okay? She's really tense these days, and the last thing I need is more hassle. I took that pretty blonde, Rosie, for an evening stroll. I mean, how the fuck am I expected to cope for an entire weekend in this shithole? I'm bored out of my mind. So, is that it?
We have to ask each person 3 questions usually before we're done, so we'll ask the second one.
What did you think of Zachary?
Creepy as hell. No ambition. Imagine deciding to live in a museum. You know, Father says Zachary and Alexa used to be 2 of a kind. He had a great future ahead of him. Then suddenly, he just gave up everything. What an idiot. Thank God Daddy chose looks and brains over pedigree when he married Mummy. I don't have to worry about the inbreeding so customary in these circles. If that's all, I think I'll get back to my slow death by boredom.
Did you see anything suspicious last night?
No. I reckon Zachary topped himself. I know I would have. Or perhaps Mr. Fernsby. I don't like him. He could have done it.
I don't like this guy, so he was the killer. Alright, that is everything we'll get out of
just remembered
Zachary
I went for
there.
a stroll behind the greenhouse last night. Maybe that's where it is.
What is?
My lost button. The one you couldn't find at the graveyard.
Thought maybe he was still talking to me. Alright, so one of the things that you'll need to do in order to clear Patrick Carlisle is to go confirm his alibi, in which he said that he went out for an evening with one of the maids who went into this room right here. This is the staff quarters.
He gave me his coat and all.
Rosie, you need to forget about Patrick. No good's gonna come of it. Stick to your own kind.
Wow.
I mean, like Chris. He treated me like shit. All he wanted to do was play his stupid video games.
Hey, I take offense to that.
I deserve romance.
Rosie, tell me what you did last night.
I'm in trouble, aren't I? I spent the evening with Patrick. We met after dinner and I went home at 1 in the morning. He said he needed someone real to talk to. When he looks at you, it makes you feel like the center of the universe. Like a real princess.
Yeah,
Now he
with
just
those
ignores
beautiful
her.
aviator
Well,
sunglasses
he's under a
he's
lot of
wearing
pressure.
inside.
He's an idiot. That's what he is.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? Any strangers outside the house?
No, we saw no one outside. Except Patrick's mother, Emma. We were sitting on the bench behind the greenhouse talking when she came out and we had to hide.
Uh-oh.
You won't tell her about me and Patrick, will you? She'd insist Madame Carlisle fire me. I'm sure of it.
Too right she will. She's always going on about how things will change once she's in charge of Thornbridge Manor.
And that is everything we get out of Rosie.
So 41...
Now, with that information, his alibi is confirmed, and we cannot consider him a suspect in the murder. We'll read everything after we've confirmed the alibi for individuals. In this case, it says Patrick claims he was with a staff member called Rosie at the time of Zachary's death. He says he found Zachary creepy as hell and to have no ambition, and adds that the deceased once had a promising career, but gave it up to live in isolation. Lastly, Patrick suggests Zachary might have killed himself, or that Mr. Fernsby could have done it. Which doesn't really tell you anything. That's not evidence. Alright, let's go talk to the other family members. The main ones are in this area of the house right here.
God's sake, Emma. Why don't we get any kind of explanation? It's bloody rude, that's what it is. Making us come here to play funeral and then show up like nothing's the least bit strange.
Well, don't get your knickers all twisted.
I'm telling you, she's not fit to be in charge anymore.
Gregory Carlisle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Oh, you're wondering about my alibi, Mr. Detective. Well, I left Thornbridge around 8:30 for a pint with Edward. I wish I hadn't. Quiz night at the inn. On the other hand, staying here with Zachary, my obnoxious sister, and the wife sporting another one of her headaches would have been a fate worse than death. The short of it, Zachary was very much alive when we left. I stayed for the last shout, and I was back here just before midnight. Anything else you want to pry from my intricate intellect?
Now, so sure of himself.
Tell me about Zachary.
Zach? Huh. Such a sad old sod. A bit heavy on the bottle, but who could blame him? Only company he had was his rare plants and mother, who travels more than she stays here. Honestly, I can't say which is the bigger ball. He's better off dead. Is that all? Not very thorough, are you?
You haven't let me finish to ask you questions, buddy.
Anything else you'd like to tell me?
Nothing really. I'm just enjoying the show. Our perfect mother obviously fucked up, didn't she? Faking her own death. You know, she's explained nothing to us. I think she's scared to own up to her own mistake.
Alright, let's question, I guess Emma's the next one in the room here.
Emma Carlisle, can you tell me where you were yesterday evening?
Surely I'm not a suspect.
I need to account for everyone.
Well, I spent the evening with my family, but I got an awful migraine and had to take to bed. Everyone can attest to that. I believe I went up when the boys sat down for a drink around 8 o'clock. Is that all?
How did you feel about Zachary?
I might as well be honest. His presence was always awkward. But how do you have a meaningful conversation with a man who only cares about plants? In my opinion, Alexa bears some responsibility for how this ended. She supported his self-limiting behavior by letting him live here. Anything else you want to know?
Have you noticed anything else out of the ordinary?
Nothing special comes to mind. Except, perhaps, I did get a feeling that Zachary was depressed, not just sad. I suppose he realized that he had no one with Alexa gone. Even Alexa must feel the pangs of guilt over that one, letting him believe she was dead. Then again, guilt isn't her strong suit.
Okay. There is some clues in this room. I think just the main one here. Pick the camera. Just a picture of the late Zachary. A portrait of, it's Montgomery Carlisle, Madame Carlisle's late older brother, located in the sitting room. And a man of incredibly intense bug eyes. Good lord, look at that. There's also a clue outside of the house on the steps going down to the backyard. We'll check that in a couple minutes. Let's go ahead and talk to a third individual.
The vote was notarized?
Fourth, I guess. This one right here.
How the hell did that happen? No, we all signed it. I gave it to him in person. He says he got it notarized the very same day. Right, listen. You go to their office and ask for Cheryl. She's the best they've got. Tell her you want to see the records. Don't take no for an answer. And call me as soon as you've got them. Thanks, Phil. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Rebecca Carlisle, can you tell me about yesterday evening?
We don't really see much of each other, my brothers and I. I suppose it takes our mother's funeral to bring us together, and even then, it's not like we sit on each other's laps. Now, let's see. Patrick, Gregory's son, disappeared straight after dinner. You know, I think he might be in some sort of trouble. Edward wanted to go as well, but Gregory convinced him to stay for a few drinks before they went off for a pint at the local at 9:15. I swear Gregory enjoys Edward's discomfort over staying here. I had a conference call with my New York office at 9, so I spent 3 hours on my laptop in my room and went straight to bed afterwards. I don't know about Emma. She did act a bit strange. You know, I bet she was making lists for changes needing to be done once she gets her hands on Thornbridge Manor. Quite the shock she had when Mother arrived during breakfast. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
Tell me about Zachary. Did he act strange last night?
You know, now you mention it, he was a lot more chatty than usual. He wanted to know about my connections in the publishing business. Apparently, a friend of his is writing a book, which strikes me as very peculiar. I didn't think he had any friends. Is that everything, Mr. Whitmer?
Anything else you feel like mentioning?
I may be wrong, but I saw Mr. Fernsby, the butler, leave Zachary's room early this afternoon. And he seemed a bit startled when he saw me in the hallway. It's probably nothing. Oh, and one more thing. Please be kind to Edward. He can only take so much.
So they've
Is there anything
started
else you want to ask me?
tipping their hands to two potential suspects, Mr. Fernsby, who she just said was acting suspicious, as well as Emma. Let's go out onto the back steps, take a picture of the evidence here. All right. Footprints found on the terrace behind the sitting room. And there is one more individual we need to talk to. It's Edward, who is over here in the dining room.
Your mental health, Emma. But sorry, I'm having too much fun enjoying the circus.
There he is, about to play a real banger on the piano, I'm sure. Gotta wait for him to finish. All right, you done? There it goes.
Professor Edward Carlisle, can you tell me your whereabouts for last night?
Oh, yes, this dreadful business with Zachary. I stay at the local inn. You see, I prefer not to spend the night here at Thornbridge Manor. My brother Gregory came along for a nightcap. He'll never admit it, but I think he understands that I find this whole thing upsetting and wanted to provide some comfort. I believe we went to the Stag's Head around 8:30. Anything else I can do to help?
Can you tell me about Zachary's behavior last night?
I certainly didn't expect him to commit suicide. Sure, he was upset by Mother's supposed death. We were. But he seemed more engaged than usual. You should ask Rebecca. They had a long talk. Did you know that he hadn't left Thornbridge Manor in nearly 50 years? His plants, Mother, and the staff, all the company he had. If that's all, I have a...
Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary?
You mean apart from the fact that we came here to bury our mother and she shows up alive and kicking? Zachary found dead in his bed this morning? Or perhaps that the planned funeral is still taking place and I have to do the eulogy? And Mother will surely have strong opinion on it afterwards. I can't breathe. Excuse me.
Very fretful guy. All right, there's a piece of evidence right here on the table.
Yes, hi.
Edward Carlisle's notes for the eulogy he is writing for his mother's pretend funeral. The handwriting does not match Zachary's suicide note. All right, with that, we should have enough to get rid of 2 more suspects. Yep. In the case of Gregory and Edward, they both confirmed each other's alibis about being away from the house at the time of death. We'll go ahead and read their information. He claims to have been at a pub with Edward at the time of Zachary's death to escape Emma's headache and his obnoxious sister Rebecca. Gregory describes Zachary as an alcoholic recluse with a passion for rare plants. Other than that, Gregory is amused at his mother's apparent mistakes and describes himself as enjoying the show. And Edward Carlisle. Edward says he is staying at the local inn and that he and Gregory were having drinks there at the time of Zachary's death. He is unsure if Zachary could have killed himself and suggests you ask Rebecca, as the two of them had a long talk. Edward finds both A's fake death and Zachary's apparent suicide unsettling, but has nothing else to add. Alright, so that leaves us with 3 potential suspects left still. Well, 4, if you count suicide. Rebecca, Emma, and Mr. Fernsby. Now, they're kind of pointing to 2 of them. They said that Emma and Mr. Fernsby were both acting suspicious. So we'll see if we can't find some more information from a couple of other locations. We'll go upstairs and check a couple of bedrooms. I don't think there was anything else on the main floor. The good news is you can check the map and find locations with evidence. There is something on the main floor, so we'll go back in here and find that. Rebecca is pacing back and forth. Here we go. I think it's on the table here. Here we go.
You look tanned.
Okay. Documents on the Carlisles' assets. Documents gathered by Rebecca on recent movements of assets belonging to the media branch of the Carlisle Holdings. They show a number of unauthorized movements of funds and privileges.
Bet Mother spent the last week at her Cyprus.
That may also bear some unexpected fruit. I guess we'll find out. Open the door here. Let's go upstairs. I always found this kind of, I don't know, sill on steps unnerving. Well, maybe it's not a sill. Maybe it's just a weighted bar. But that looks like just a tripping hazard waiting to happen. I get it's probably there to keep the carpet in place, but it also looks like it's something you would stub your toe on and then just fall right on the steps face first.
That door leads to Emma and Gregory's room.
Well, we don't have a key, so we'll have to do this in a way that does not get us in trouble. We can't do it while she's walking by, or she will notice. So an easy way to get her to walk away, just come in here for a couple seconds. The reason you have to get her to walk away is one of the challenges in this level is her and one of the security guards, the guy... Oh, where's my button? There we go. Security guard right there. They're actually flirting with each other. And if someone walks by, they'll suddenly act like they're busy and walk away from each other. Once you give them a second of privacy, they'll go meet back up. Guard's moving into place. The maid will move back over in a second here. Alright, she's putting the broom down. And now she's going back over to the wall, where once they get in place, you'll notice that the guard will put his arm in a spot right over her shoulder and get real close while they're talking. Lock the door. They won't notice. Obviously, they're engaged in other activities. There is one thing you can take a picture of right over... Where is it? Is it there on the floor? I think so. Shoes scanned. Shoes and footprints found in Emma and Gregory's room, matching the prints on the terrace outside the sitting room. Looks like Emma might have gone outside last night. Or possibly her husband, Gregory, wearing pumps. All right, and oh, what's this? Greenhouse keychain.
A keychain.
The greenhouse in which Zachary Carlisle grew exotic plants. The greenhouse is located in the rear end of the garden behind the mansion.
Pendant for the greenhouse. What's that doing in Emma and Gregory's room, I wonder? And why is the key missing?
Oh. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Something on the desk. Letter from Emma's mother. Let's read this.
Now this is interesting, 47. A letter from Emma's mother stating that Emma is the illegitimate child of Alexa's late older brother, Montgomery. And listen to this. She claims to have witnessed Alexa and Zachary murder him. The plot thickens.
Oh. So maybe we have some motive here. Someone getting revenge for her murdered father, perhaps? Let's see if there was anything else. I think there's one other item in this room. Maybe. Let's see how many... Oh, come on. Back. Where we go? Come on. I know you're here. There we go. We got one more clue in the room. And I believe it is right there. This cane right here. Yep, that was it. So, a letter from Emma's mother found in the room in which Emma and Gregory Carlisle are staying. Letter details that Emma's father was the late Montgomery Carlisle, Alexa and Zachary's older brother, and that the two younger siblings murdered him. Apparently, the two murderers were unaware that Emma's mother was expecting his child. The greenhouse keychain, the key itself has been removed, and then what we just picked up, bulldog cane, an old cane with a knob shaped like the head of a bulldog. Now, why would that be a clue? We'll find out in a second here. Unfortunately, this is not an item that you can put into your jacket like a wrench, a hammer, a crowbar, a screwdriver, multiple cans of soda, coconuts, cue balls, whatever else you pick up in the game. This one, it's either in your hand or it's not, but no one actually says anything if you carry it around with you.
That is the door to Rebecca's room.
Take a look in Rebecca's room. Thank you, Diana. Always interrupting. Nothing there. There is a picture opportunity. We'll have to put down the cane, I'm sure. Yep, there it goes. I thought it was here. Oh, it's on the bench. Okay. Rebecca Carlisle's notebook found in the bedroom in which she is staying. The notes concern various Carlisle assets as well as a board meeting from the night before. The handwriting does not match Zachary's suicide note, so if that was planted, it doesn't look like it's her handwriting. And let's go ahead and do the other clue right here.
I can see from the log that Rebecca was in a conference call from 9 p.m. to midnight last night.
Rebecca Carlisle's laptop found in the bedroom in which she is staying. Logs on the laptop reveal that Rebecca was in a conference call for several hours around 10 p.m. last night. So, between those two bits of information, that would suggest that Rebecca is no longer one of the suspects. Rebecca says Patrick disappeared after dinner last night and may be in some sort of trouble. Edward and Gregory went to a local pub after having drinks at the mansion. Emma acted strange, but Rebecca does not know how she spent the evening. Rebecca herself claims to have been in a conference call from her laptop in her bedroom at the time of Zachary's death. Rebecca adds that Zachary was more talkative than usual and was inquiring into her connections in the publishing business on behalf of a friend. Lastly, Rebecca says she found Mr. Fernsby leaving Zachary's room this afternoon. So, what that's telling us is the two primary suspects right now are still Emma and Mr. Fernsby. And again, we have not confirmed whether or not Zachary Carlisle did in fact commit suicide. So there's still that possibility floating out there. But it is starting to look more and more like one of two other people possibly did it. I don't think there's any other rooms we need to check up here. We do need to go downstairs to Mr. Fernsby's office. And we also have a couple of arrows pointing in the direction of the greenhouse out back.
That is the door to Mr. Fernsby's office.
Always right before I say anything. Alright, so there are a couple of things in here. There's a note on the desk. I think there's also something in the fireplace, but this is a useful item that we could have gotten earlier. It just makes it so I can go into any room in the house. Also part of a challenge, which is difficult and not terribly fun to do, where you have to knock out all of the members of the Carlisle family to pick up their special keys. Alright, so let's pick up this. Zachary's half-burnt diary.
Zachary's diary. This is big. He was about to confess to the world that he and Alexa murdered their older brother Montgomery 46 years ago. And apparently, Mr. Fernsby helped make the murder look like an accident.
Uh-oh.
And 47, the handwriting doesn't match the suicide letter in his room, proving he didn't write it himself.
Oh, no. So it's starting to look like he was definitely murdered if the handwriting doesn't match the handwriting in the notebook. So, one more thing right here on the desk. Let's go and see what that is. We'll read this first. A list written by Mr. Fernsby, the butler. It details various preparations for tomorrow's pretend funeral and a photo shoot scheduled for today by the fountain in the garden. The handwriting does not match Zachary Carlisle's suicide note. And then the diary. Zachary Carlisle's diary. Found half burnt in the fireplace in Mr. Fernsby's office. The diary details how Zachary and A conspired to murder their older brother, Montgomery, and how Mr. Fernsby helped cover it up as an accident. Zachary was still plagued by guilt, and with A presumed dead, he planned to publicly confess to his crimes. Curiously, the handwriting does not match the suicide note found in Zachary's bedroom. And it's saying there's one other thing in here. Let's see what I possibly missed. I don't think it's the golf club or the fire poker. And I don't see any picture possibilities. Yeah, it's neither of those things. Oh, right there. A lethal poison pill jar.
Painkillers. Lethal if you use enough of them.
But not the poison used to kill Zachary. Of course, Madame Carlisle doesn't know that. Are you considering to frame the butler, 47? Mr. Fernsby clearly didn't commit the murder, but I think you have enough evidence to convince Madame Carlisle he did. Maybe you should tell him you are ready to present your findings. Unless, of course, you want to do some more detecting, 47?
Now, with the information we've already gathered, we basically know who did it. We know for a fact that Mr. Fernsby did not kill Zachary because his handwriting doesn't match the suicide note, which is also not Zachary's handwriting. We also have evidence of a poisoning that was done in a way that does not match the poison we found in Mr. Fernsby's office. But we did find a diary that he decided to burn up because it implicated him in a murder. So, clearly what happened was Mr. Fernsby went into Zachary's room, found that he had died, found the diary, and noticed that it mentioned that he was guilty of, or he was an accomplice, I guess I should say, in the murder of Montgomery, and tried to hide the evidence. Doesn't indicate that he committed the murder, but with enough of what we have here, we can frame him for it regardless. But the only person we have not cleared of any wrongdoing is Emma. And we know that there is a potential set of clues out at the greenhouse in the backyard. There's a greenhouse in the distance.
bad news, I'm afraid. We don't have any extra fuses. Ethel looked everywhere.
The other two mission stories in this particular area are fun, but they're quick and they don't have the meat to them that this one does. So I tend to prefer this one as the one we look at. This is another locked door. Hopefully I could just open it. I cannot. That's alright. We'll just pick a lock, but we'll need to do it where no one's going to see. I think this is fine. Yep, I got it. Alright. So. Anything there? A boat key. That is a way to get out of the level, but not necessarily evidence. The evidence we want is back here. Yoink. Right here. We got a whole bunch of
lab equipment.
Yep.
It looks like it was recently used, though.
And there is, oh, a photo opportunity. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. Right in the book.
This is a table showing lethal dosages for the poison used to kill Zachary.
Something is circled 47. Female, age 65 to 79, 60 to 64 kilograms. I'd say Madame Carlisle is next in line for a poisoning. You have uncovered enough evidence to tell Madame Carlisle that Emma is the murderer. Quite the detective, 47. I'm impressed. I suggest you go tell Mr. Fernsby. Unless you think there are more secrets to uncover.
And in fact, there are. There is one more bit of evidence that we can go find. It is upstairs. And unfortunately, there's nothing telling you how to find this. This is something that you would have to do or uncover with a more thorough search of the house than usually would be the case if you come into this mission. So we know for a fact now that it was Emma that committed the murder. However, even with Mr. Fernsby as the potential murderer, we have a third option. Remember, we had some evidence to suggest that Zachary committed suicide, but nothing definitive. Well, there's a little spot right here, a mysterious switch that you can't press with your hand, you have to press with the cane. Another secret room. Steal some coins. No, that's not the evidence. The evidence is right here.
An old letter, 47. Never opened. Must have slid under the secret door nearly 46 years ago. It states that Alexa Carlisle's older brother, Montgomery, wanted Alexa to become the heir to the Carlisle Empire instead of himself. Interesting. You're an excellent detective, 47. Uncovering truths half a century old. If you frame it correctly, I believe you could use the information to convince Madame Carlisle that Zachary committed suicide.
There you go.
Maybe you should ask Mr. Fernsby to see her.
So with the evidence that we've collected, I believe that is everything. We can double check here. We have 3 potential murderers, or I guess one that commits suicide. Zachary Carlisle, we obviously have enough evidence with that note that, in fact, he committed suicide because he found out through a note that he had discovered in a back passage, potentially, that even though these 2 younger siblings killed the older one in order to claim power, it turns out that Montgomery never wanted the power and was willing to give it up to almost said it again. Regardless of whether or not they had attempted to kill her. She would have gained that power anyway. So murdering their brother was a pointless endeavor, and it cost someone a life. We also have enough evidence to suggest that Mr. Fernsby did it because we found a diary that indicated he helped with the murder of Montgomery. But the true suspect, of course, was Emma Carlisle, who did commit the murder. She poisoned Zachary with some plants out in the backyard, and she had enough evidence in her bedroom to point that out. She had muddy boots that were hidden in a corner of the room. There was the key to the greenhouse, or a little fob for the greenhouse that the key had been removed from. And also she had the way to get into the room, because as you could see with the cane, I could open up a secret room by pressing a switch on the ground. Now, how does that tell us that she could have killed when the door was locked from the inside? Well, when we left the bedroom of Zachary earlier, we came out this wall over here, and there's a similar switch that you can only open with the cane. And where do we find the cane? It was in Emma's bedroom. So she is clearly the murderer. We have 3 ways to conclude the case. We're going to see all 3 of them.
I'm ready to present my conclusion to Madame Carlisle.
Very well. If you'll follow me, sir. This is Madame Carlisle's office. Please step inside.
Your detective skills have gained you access to the Lion's Den, 47. Now, go claim your reward.
So, Mr. Whitmer, you've reached a conclusion. Take a seat. Please, go ahead.
We're going to start with the most obvious not criminal or suspect here, which was Zachary committing suicide.
Your brother committed suicide.
I need to see some evidence to believe that, Mr. Whitmer.
Zachary was found dead in a room locked from the inside. He died from a rare poisonous plant he cultivated himself. He believed you were dead, and a suicide note explained that he did not have the courage to go on without you.
That's what I don't buy. I cared for him deeply, but the truth is he hated my guts. My death would not make him commit suicide, I can promise you that.
Perhaps the death of your older brother, Montgomery, then. I have found evidence showing that you and Zachary killed him nearly 50 years ago. I believe that was when Zachary turned recluse. Your brother recently uncovered proof that your past deeds were for nothing. A letter from Montgomery stating that he wanted you, Madame Carlisle, to take over from your father instead of himself, as you were better suited to the job. Everything would have turned out the way you wanted, without anyone dying. What broke Zachary once, now destroyed him.
And you saw this letter?
I did.
Oh, Zachary. How royally I fucked up. Mr. Whitmer, I'm sorry, I just need to gather my thoughts. Right. The payment for your services, have you decided on an amount?
Now, we do get 2 options here. We're going to take money on the first 2, because on the third one is when we'll get what we need. But we'll say money for now.
I'll send you an invoice.
To be honest, I doubt you'll see any money. You see, Mr. Whitmer, the irony is even deeper than you know. It's all gone. Everything I expect. I killed my older brother to protect the family legacy, drove my little brother mad in the process, and now I've managed to lose everything to a fucking secretary. Would you believe it? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I trust you'll see yourself out. I need to excuse myself. I need some privacy. Thank you.
We're not going to give her that privacy necessarily, because we want to see what happens next. I wonder how she's taking the fact that she killed her brother and got nothing for it. Oh, not well.
That's Madame Carlisle taken care of. Time to get the file on Arthur Edwards.
Please, go ahead.
The butler, Mr. Fernsby, killed Zachary.
Fernsby? Oh, you've got that wrong. He would never do such a thing. He is the most loyal man I have ever met.
I found pills in his office that matches the poison that killed your brother. Furthermore, I found Zachary's notebook, half burned, in Mr. Fernsby's fireplace. It showed that Zachary intended to publish a written confession to a murder the two of you committed nearly 50 years ago. The murder of your older brother, Montgomery.
That's outrageous. We did no such thing.
No need to feign innocence. I know a killer when I see one, and my discretion is assured. The papers also described how Mr. Fernsby helped you stage the murder of Montgomery as an accident. I believe he killed Zachary not to be exposed as an accomplice to murder.
Sweet Fernsby. You are wrong, Mr. Whitmer. He did not do it to protect himself. He did it to protect the Carlisle legacy. Mr. Fernsby, like myself, understands that sacrifices must be made to secure stability and prosperity. Mr. Whitmer, I'd appreciate it if your findings never leave this room. I understand Fernsby's actions, and there is no need for them to have more consequences than they already have. Fernsby was very fond of Zachary, and I'm sure his decision will haunt him to the day he dies. About your reward, have you considered an amount?
We'll just take money again.
I'll send you an invoice.
Thank you, Mr. Whitmer. I trust you'll see yourself out.
We didn't get the...
I need some privacy. Thank you.
We didn't get the speech like she gave last time saying that she doesn't have any money. She doesn't commit suicide this time. She's not feeling guilt from murdering her brother at this point. But there is an epilogue to this particular ending if you choose to frame Mr. Fernsby. Yoink, we need a wrench. Why do we need a wrench? Well, as we noticed when we came in here earlier, the lab equipment was damaged when Emma tried to make poison to kill Zachary. Let's go ahead and fix it for her.
Better be Mother explaining what the hell's going on.
Somebody should document this historic moment. Mother apologizing for a major
No need to
triumph.
panic.
Both firsts, I believe.
In my own time, Gregory. I'll wait till everybody is here.
I don't think they chased me out. Still waiting on Patrick, wherever he is. Oh, there he is.
Right, let's get started. I want to keep this short. I know you have a lot of questions. Some I will answer now. The rest will have to wait. First, Zachary's sudden death is a great tragedy, but also a great inconvenience, as it happened just now. I'm dealing with the situation in a discreet and efficient way, and I expect your cooperation in all related matters. Secondly, the arranged funeral event tomorrow will take place as planned. No one can know that I am still alive. I expect you all to act your part. Last, as you all know, I have a lot on my plate and need to focus on sorting everything out, so please do not disturb me with your petty concerns. You are all adults, and as part of the elite, you will eventually have to deal with difficult situations like this. It comes late for most of you, but this is a chance for you to show what you are made of. That will be all.
Now, curiously,
What an exit.
Emma is walking out the back door.
Show what you're made of. Edward.
This is your chance.
Oh, God. I have to finish that eulogy.
And clearly concerned about someone watching what she's doing.
Emma Carlisle in the greenhouse.
Oh, my God.
How
It
curious.
works again. What a relief.
Now, we did pick the plants, but the good news is she can still distill a poison with her own supply, I guess. And once she's got what she needs, she'll turn around and leave. Let's go out so she doesn't see that I watched her. It's probably best not to look at her feet while she's walking up those steps because they clip right through the steps. Hey, look, making video games is tough, guys. I don't think we have to hide, but if you watch close enough... Uh-oh. She just poisoned a drink. And once the drink has been poisoned, guess who goes right over to it to take a sip?
Perfect mother. Who would have thought? You fucked up, didn't you? Staging your own death? A major, grandiose cock-up, I'd say.
Be quiet, Gregory.
It shows you're only human, after all. I never would have guessed.
Oh, shit!
That's Madame Carlisle taken care of. Time to get the file on Arthur Edwards.
So all I had to do to commit the assassination that I was sent here for, frame the wrong person.
Please, go ahead.
Let's tell her the truth. Emma committed the murder.
Your niece, Emma Carlisle, murdered your brother Zachary.
My niece? Emma is not my niece. She's my daughter-in-law.
And your niece. Emma is the illegitimate child of your late older brother Montgomery, who you and Zachary killed 46 years ago.
That's preposterous.
You asked me to find out what happened to Zachary. Would you rather not know?
No. No, go on.
I found a letter from Emma's mother, Jane, who was the fiancée of your older brother at the time of his death. She witnessed how you and Zachary pushed him off the balcony. She believed you did it to steal the Carlisle empire from her and her unborn child. And she raised Emma to reclaim what she lost, marry your heir, Gregory, get revenge, and secure the Carlisle empire for her bloodline generations to come.
Emma is the daughter of Montgomery and that local girl, Jane.
She is.
Well, the girl got it wrong. I didn't steal anything. I did what was necessary to protect the future of the Carlisles. Montgomery wasn't cut out to take over from father. All heart and no balls.
Why is it all echoey now?
To speed up her installment as the lady of the house, seizing the opportunity to stage Zachary's suicide. She did her homework, used a poison made from one of Zachary's rare plants, found old floor plans from Thornbridge Manor to gain access to his room through a secret passage.
That scheming bitch.
More than you think. I found proof that she will try to poison you next.
Well, I'll have to take care of that. Thank you, Mr. Whitmer. You have not disappointed. I promised you I would reward you generously if you solved the case. So, what do you suggest?
This time, instead of money, we want that case file.
I want the file you have on Arthur Edwards.
Edwards, the constant. But how do you... Oh, I see. I expected you might show up. But to kill me, not help me. But I've been wrong on so many things lately, so why not this one? I will give you the file on Edwards. You've earned it. I don't suppose I could convince you to deal with my daughter-in-law now you're here. I would like to see her dead. No? What a shame. I'll have
They
to
don't
see
even
to
give
it
you the
some other
option.
way, then. The file you want is in the safe. God, I hope you get Edwards and make him hurt.
How are you, sir?
I need some privacy. Thank you.
Good work, 47. That's the file on Arthur Edwards secured. Time to take care of Madame Carlisle.
That easy.
Mission complete. Well done, 47.
Diana? Hello? All done. Now, ironically, we're stealing the cane that they need to open all those secret passages. Don't think they'll need it anymore. Or, you know, maybe the family will still own the house afterwards and I'm just stealing a cane because I feel like it. Alright, let's get out of here. Music's starting to get spooky.
Hello.
47. They're everywhere. Go, get out! It's the Constantine. Shit! Don't respond, just listen. Diana can't help you now. You need to find Olivia. She will know what to do. I wish there had been more time.
And then there were none. Thank you, Miss Burnwood. Now, it's my turn.
Uh-oh.
Stay down. Boss wants you alive.
Yeah? How about now?
Over here! Cover me!
Walk away!
Or what? You gonna take us all on?
Don't. Tell the Constant to start running!
You think you've won? 47 is out there. And 47 never misses his mark.
Neither do you, Miss Burnwood. That's what makes you valuable.
You're delusional. You think I would betray 47?
Trust me, you owe him nothing.
What is this?
I told you we could help each other, and I meant it. I look forward to your call.
Gray is gone. Go to Berlin and stay out of sight. We're all that's left now.
So at the end of it, the end of Providence, with only the constant leftover, you would think the game would basically be reaching its conclusion, and quite on the contrary. My association with the organization that I work for, which I'm blanking on the name for some reason, and Diana is now unraveling rather quickly. Anyway, let's go ahead and do the Silent Assassin suit only run. This one goes very quickly, not too much trouble. It does require you to unlock one of the shortcuts that they added to the third game, but thankfully it's pretty easy once you have the means to get into the mansion from the backside. So let's go ahead and pick that. We will pick I think we'll pick the short baller, that's fine. Doesn't make any more noise than any of the other guns, and we'll keep the suit we normally start with. Let's get started. Okay. First things first, we are trespassing as soon as we walk in, so we will have to do a little bit of sneaking around. Guards and staff members everywhere who, if they see you, will automatically cost you the Silent Assassin run. You cannot be spotted at any point during this run. Let's see if I can grab something I can use as a weapon. We don't want the shears, so I was looking for something blunt. I'm going to save here because sometimes the staff member who's posted up right here will ruin this attempt to run across the courtyard.
No power, no
All right, go. And he ruined it.
Damn.
There we go. I don't know which way he's going to go. We'll have to wait until he moves. There we go. Perfect.
I guess we could do that.
Nope, 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 nope. You don't see me. Let's see if there's any other implements we can pick up. We want some blunt objects that we can throw to knock people out if necessary. Uh-oh. You don't see me. I don't see anything there. The shovel might work. I don't think I can put it on my back. That's the problem. We'll try. Can I put it on my back? I cannot, so that's not going to work. That's all right. First things first, we got to make sure no one is in the room because we are actually next to Zachary's room. All right. There's a guard there we need to take down. And I want to take the gun as well because that will be spotted. Gotta move quickly. There is a box you can put this body in right there. I may not need the blunt object after all. That's fine. But what we do need to do is hide, because in her paces around the second and third floors of the house, Alexa does come into Zachary's bedroom, sit by his bedside, and spill her guts, basically, about how she feels about the family, about her role in the murder of Montgomery, a couple other things. And that is our opportunity to take her down, but it does take a little bit of timing. She does walk around the house accompanied by a security guard, so you have to take him out before you can kill her. Thankfully, for whatever reason, opening this wall does not trigger the guard or anyone else. It's very bizarre. Open. And get him real quick. He's down. I'm going to drag him into the passage here. Reopen this. Gun out.
It's all gone.
Oh, don't go too far.
I doubt our big brother could have botched it up any worse than I have, even if he'd tried.
She gets back up. Starts walking away. Here's her chance. And... done. Target's down.
That's Madame Carlisle taken care of. Time to get the file on Arthur Edwards.
Alright, all the bodies are hidden. Thankfully, we're not playing on the higher difficulty where I think blood pools like that actually do get noticed by enforcers, but it turns out no one ever comes in this room. The only two people who would have checked it are the bodyguard and I think our target, Madame Carlisle. Oh, come on. There we go. I want to go over this wall, sneak around the edge to that pipe right there. I think I can get up now. Yeah, there we go. Move past. Go up to the top. Now, it turns out that's the room where you meet with Miss Carlisle to solve the case.
A safe in Madame Carlisle's
We gotta wait because he comes back this way.
That's where she keeps the file on Arthur Edwards.
It's gonna give the stoop there a serious lean. Look at that. So chill. I'm the best, alright. Yeah, baby. Then he's gonna go to the other side of this balcony. This is our chance to hop up. Gotta be careful because the guard at the bottom of the steps there will see you. We're gonna have to knock him out as part of our sneaking into this room. Which is why I was looking for a blunt object, but I think there might be something up here I can throw. Or a shotgun, but we're not gonna do that. I thought there was something up here I could throw. That could be a problem. What do I have that I can throw at him that's safe? What we may end up doing is throwing a coin and then just choking him out. Because there's no way to do it from here. Also, we have to be careful because that guard will sneak back into a spot where he'll see what we're doing. Let's put it right there.
Okay. Checking out some strange noises. Stand by.
Don't see it, don't see it, don't see it, don't see it. I think we're alright. Yeah, we should be okay. There we go. For extra security, I may take down these guards out here as well. We don't need to, technically, but that one does move around a lot, and he may end up seeing me while I'm doing what I need to do in here. Go. Alright, one down, drag him back here to the box. Put him in. Now let's go get the last one there. He's down. Grab the gun. Drag him to a box. I think there's another one right there. Yes, there is. There we go. Now we have free reign of the room we need to search in order to get the clues for the safe. Now, as we saw before, Madame Carlisle pressed this button. That moves a painting there to the safe.
Peculiar icons above the safe. I wonder if they might be some sort of a code. Maybe have a look around the office, 47.
She's talking about... Hold on, let me pull out a gun so I can zoom in a little. Come on. Those four there. A clock, a telescope, a fire, and a moose. So clock, telescope, fire, moose. There's a clock right here. And let's see if it's here somewhere. Might not be this clock. There are multiple clocks in the room, so you gotta check all of them. There's one right here. And aha! 1. So the next one was a telescope. We gotta go to the second floor. There's the telescope. And right behind it, 9. 1, 9. The third symbol was fire. There's a fireplace right here, and directly behind that, 7. And then the fourth icon was a moose. You see the heads mounted on the walls. Well, the moose is right there. And 5. So the password is 1975. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I might be guessing here. 1975 is the year that Montgomery was murdered, which is kind of morbid, but whatever. 1, 9, 7. Now, I've noticed this recently, but there's little blurred out digits that'll appear on the screen there while you're typing in codes. I don't know what they were doing that for. There we go.
Mission complete. Well done, 47.
Before we do anything else, let's grab some noisemakers, just in case we need them. The exit is the hardest way, or the hardest part of this mission, rather. Just getting out of the facility safely. Okay, come on, get over. There we go. I gotta drop down, don't I? Yep, there we go. Then we'll have to hop the wall. Right back to where we came in. So you gotta be careful. There are 2 guards that pace back and forth right there. They are leaving, so we're good to get down right now. And the exit is right there. But it turns out there are 2 people here, groundskeeper and a guard. You need to distract both of them to get out safely. I'm going to save before I do this because I've had it go bad right at the end, which could be incredibly frustrating to be this close and then to fail in spectacular fashion. Let's do something more subtle. Alright, so I'm going to throw a coin about as far away as I possibly can.
Just, okay.
There they go. Quick wait.
All right, stay put. I'll take a look.
Got it. That is Silent Assassin should only run for Dartmoor. That one's not too bad. There's not too many spots where it can go bad on you, but we didn't run into any of them this time, which is a nice change of pace. We've had some rough spots in the past couple episodes. Alright, let's go ahead and get back to the menu. Yeah, we already saw that. So in the next episode, we're headed to Berlin, as he indicated at the end there in that little post-mission video that played. Him and Olivia are headed there. However, and I just remembered the name of the organization, the ICA knows now that me and Diana have been going against the contract that was signed and to be executed on behalf of Providence, and we've been taking out the partners, so now their target is us. Me and the only remaining member of the team, Olivia. So we're going to have to do a little predator work against other predators, I guess is the best way to put it. I mean, the mission is called Apex Predator. Basically, we're going to be hunted by agents, and we got to hunt them in return. But we will learn more about that in the next episode. That's going to do it for episode 17 of Nub's Hitman Files. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.